Om Samrajya Sokham Trinabadvihaya Sandhayarayang Chivara Chinnavesham Ninindya Vedam Pashughatanam Cha Dayamayang Twang Pranatasmi Buddham. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Buddha, who renounced the happiness of a kingdom as if it were, who wore the ragged garb of renunciation, who denied the authority of the Vedas and denounced animal sacrifice. That compassionate Buddha I salute again and again. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto us all. So today is our topic is Buddha, because this month was the birth of Buddha. Of course, birth means it is called the three blessed day, thrice blessed day, because that is the day when Buddha was born, day when Buddha attained illumination, and that is the same day it happened that he left his mortal frame. So that is why it's called thrice blessed day. So every year we try to remember Buddha. Maybe you will hear the same thing because the message of these great people are very simple. As you have just listened to the reading, that it is the mind and how to control the mind and master the mind. And the mind always gives us right or wrong direction. So how to master that, how to live in the world, how to feel the problems of our life, really a burning problem, to feel that we must have to get out of it. He actually lived that life and gave a direction into our life. Buddha's life, if we see that he has focused his whole life in one particular direction, and that direction is to one great virtue, only to cultivate, ahimsa, non-injury. I will not hurt anyone by word, by deed and my actions. And that is the key point of Buddha's entire life and his philosophy. And that's why his philosophy is to create a sense of friendship with all. It is to reach that state of nibbana or nirvana or mukti or freedom. In that state of freedom, as Vedanta says that you will see the oneness, here it says that you will find the love for all. And the background, why I shall love all, why not hate? Why I should be kind to all, why I should not be rude to one? Why I should go out of the way to help others? Why not to help myself by grabbing others' money, property, wealth? What is the philosophy behind that? Philosophy is that it is the Maitri Bhavana, the Buddha's great idea of the philosophy of loving everyone as your friend. And that is called another language Buddha has used. Normally these are not expressed in Buddhistic philosophy or language. It is called Brahma Vihara. Vihara means just abiding in the state of Brahman consciousness. It's a very difficult term because it is as appearing as if Buddha is a Vedantic student, Vedanta student. I will refer to that— in the eye of a great what you call philosopher, or you can poet, Rabindranath Tagore, he mentioned this idea, quoting from Dhammapad, that idea of Brahma Vihara, that means abiding in the consciousness of Brahman. And that is the ground, the unity behind all activity. Because this is the question, why are you self-loved? Because there is that eternal friendship, eternal oneness. And that is to be only possible, it can be manifested perfectly in our life if only we start with this idea of Maitri or friendship, idea of friendship and love for all. So, Buddha said in the Pali, I won't read that Pali, it will give little difficult to understand some language for us. But Pali was one time the common language of the masses. That's why Buddha became so popular, because the spiritual treasure was held in the language of Sanskrit before. And the common language became Pali, Sanskritized version, little colloquial. And that Buddha's message, all message of the Buddha was given in that language called Pali. So, we don't know much, but whatever Buddha said, that as mother loves his child and protects, even giving up her own life, in this same manner, you should have to carry that intense feeling of compassion to the east, west, north, south, in all direction. Whoever is there in whatever end, this compassionate idea should be kept alive in your mind, which will be free from all anger and sense of animosity. Whether you stand, whether you walk, whether you sit, whether you lie down or go to sleep, you keep this spirit of Maitri, friendship, the Maitri Bhavana, and get established in that. And that is called the Brahma Vihara, or abiding in Brahman. These are all the translation of Buddha's by Rabindranath Tagore. And this, what he said, that how we will arrive that. Today, because every year we talk about Buddha's life, we can focus on this aspect, how we can attain that Buddha state. Buddha is not a man. Buddha is this question of attaining a state, bodha, consciousness, awareness of the divinity, and to be aware and awake into that divinity, which is almost absent in our consciousness. That is called the nirvana state, or that is the state of Buddha. So Buddha is the awakened state. Awakened from what? Awakened from this deep, dark ignorance in which we live, to the light and to the illumination. In the Bhagavad Gita, we read this, that ya nisha, that which is nisha, deep darkness or night, for sarvabhutanam, for all these created beings, we, billions of people, it is to me, to us, as if dark night. What is the dark night? Dark night, we don't see anything. We can't recognize things in its real perspective. So that which is like that of dark night to the millions or sarvabhutanam, all created beings, there are few people, tasyam jagarti sangyami. There are few people who remain awake in that state. For us it is darkness, I don't see anything. But there are people who are awake in that state. And that is the state of consciousness. That is the state of Bodha, Buddha, state of Buddha, Bodhisattva, state. And Gita says, Yashang Jagrati Bhutani, in which we, millions of people, billions of people, are awake. We are awake in what? What is happening in politics? What is happening in our day-to-day life? The suffering, the pain, the anguish, the frustration, the joys, all the emotions, and anything happening in the material world so real for us. Sa nisha pasyato mune. For a person, a muni, a man of realization or a woman of realization, it is like darkness. They don't understand. They remain in that state high above, in that state of consciousness, where there is not this duality can't remain there. The suffering, the pain, it cannot touch them. So that is the state in which the awakened people live. And we, the people who live in the world, we are totally blind about that. But we are aware of this apparent perception, what is going on. And Buddha's main philosophy is that this is everything, what is you are seeing, it is only changing thing, which gives an appearance of reality. As we talk, you bring this issue again and again. When you stand before the mirror, you see the same person, yourself. Is it not? Because yesterday, today, this morning, this evening, so you see as if the same person you are standing before the mirror. But the morning you and evening you is not the same you. It has changed so much. So similarly, because it happens in such a slow sequence, our mind does not grab that and think that I am the same. And so also we see the world as if the same. But Buddha says it is always in the constant state of flux. And that you are mistakenly looking at as if it is the reality. So, Buddha's state is to be awakened into that state of consciousness which is unchanging. And he didn't say it is changing or unchanging that way, but he pointed out towards that truth which is called the light. He told his disciple, what is that? In the Maha Parinirvan Sutta, Buddha teaches his prime disciple Ananda. What he tells, and he is going to leave the body, and naturally the prime disciple, main disciple, foremost disciple was Ananda. He was very much sad and he was to his tears. Then Buddha said, therefore, it is not the time to cry, but get ready to know. He said, therefore, O Ananda, be ye lamb unto yourself. Be ye refuge to yourself. Take yourself to no external refuge. Hold fast to the truth as a lamb. Hold fast as a refuge to the truth. And whosoever Ananda, either now or after I am dead, shall be a lamb unto themselves, and a refuge unto themselves, shall betake themselves to no external refuge, but holding fast to the truth as their lamb, and holding fast as their refuge to the truth, shall look not for refuge to anyone besides themselves. It is they, Ananda, among many of the monks, bhikkhus, who shall reach the very topmost height, but they must be anxious to learn. So he is talking about to be a lamp unto oneself, and to take refuge in that one, not to anything which is changing, which is moving, which is always in a mood of sometimes happiness, sometimes misery, sometimes joy, sometimes death, sometimes disease. So it is not that. That was his message. To reach that point, that means to be a lamp unto us. That is the message. That lamp will remove the darkness. And that darkness is our ignorance. Ignorance about that light. And that light, when it shines here, then you will see the same light outside, everywhere. And because the same light, as I don't hate myself, so I cannot hate you. In this state, we may talk, but in our behavior we will hurt someone again, because it is intellectual. But now, if it becomes a part and parcel of life, then who will hate whom? You cannot, if you see that oneness. So, there is a philosophy of understanding this. It is called how to abide in Brahman. It is called Brahma Vihar. It is a language what Buddha has himself utilized it, used this word. It's called Brahma Vihara. And how to reach that? The following the path of mitrata or friendship. And how to reach that friendship idea? By following some shilas. Shilas means conducts. Some noble virtues. That's why eightfold steps are there, no? So we'll touch that point. To come to the real point, how we can reach the state of Buddha state. Or we can say how we can live in the consciousness of that Brahman. It's called Brahma Vihara. Brahma, to Rabindranath Tagore, I am just reading from Rabindranath Tagore, though it is not translated, I am translating spontaneously, so I may not be very perfect translation, but I will try. It is said, this path to attain, to remain in that state of Brahman, that is abiding in the consciousness of Brahman, it actually helped humanity to reach that state of awareness of that highest non-dual path. But how? He also emphasized it cannot be attained without paying its price. You want to have a good Mercedes-Benz car, so you will have to earn your money to pay the equal price. You cannot get it by paying the price of an ordinary car to get a high quality thing. So in spirituality also, you have to work hard. You have to act on your mind. You have to be diligent, and you should have to have serious practice of it. So he used to know, Buddha knew that nothing can be achieved without paying its proper value. That's why Buddha suggested that you take the path of Shila. Shila means this is some conduct. And this Shila, this conduct should be unbroken. It should not be, there should not be a gap of it. He said that the ancient monks of Buddhist tradition, in their day-to-day practice, Tagore says that they used to follow this Shila. Shila means, as I have said, conduct, noble conducts. What are the Shila? He says, Na chadinnam madiye. Don't take which is not given to you. This is called one conduct. Mushano bhase. Very simple thing. Don't tell lie. We don't need to hear this now in the lecture platform. When we are kids, Those lessons were given by our mom, dad, no? But at this ripened age, probably we have not yet learned that lesson yet. And Buddha is saying this simple teaching at this, to attain to that Brahman, state of Brahman. So it is very important to pay attention. That's why Swami Vivekananda said that pay attention to a minute thing. A person is known by what? Not in the front of 1,000 people. Anyone, a fool can be a great person at the applause of thousands. But a person is known by simple conduct, simple behavior, little things of the life. So he says, Mushano bhase, don't tell lie. This is another conduct. Na majjapo shia, don't drink alcohol. But balance alcohol, of course. In India, it is a hot country, so better not to take alcohol. But in cold countries, you may have something, but it should not make you eccentric, or it doesn't make you off the balance. That is the which clouds the mind. We all know what it happens when one goes to drink too much. But anyhow, but Buddhism says don't touch alcohol. Okay, this is one conduct, and in this way, one by one, you have to collect and assemble in your life all these good conducts. That's why they used to practice that in the earlier time in the Buddhism, and they used to say that they used to pray that let these conducts be akhandani, let it be not broken. Let me do it every day, in every moment of my life's journey. Achchiddani, let it not be some gap in between. The same idea. And it says it is not that I am following because someone is dictating me with a rod in hand, like a police, good citizens in the car, driving the car. When you drive, suppose there is no police, you know that today there will be no police. Then you see how everyone drives. But it is not under compulsion from anyone else, but it is by my own volition. These are noble, these are good, this will build my character, and this character will lead me to the illumination. So that type of prayer they used to say, that I am doing this practice of following the conducts, not out of someone's compulsion or pressure, but out of my own joy. And let no sin touches this practice of Shila. And it is not to be followed for gaining money, wealth, name, fame. And this conduct I will have to follow in whatever condition, because it leads me to liberation and freedom. So they used to say this in ancient time. Buddha was asked that what is the auspicious thing in life? Buddha said, auspicious thing you want to know? Asevana cha balanang punditanang cha sevana. It is mixed Sanskrit and Pali. It says, don't serve people who are not of noble character. Association is the question, no? Association, in us everything is here. In a good association, good feelings come up and it's nurtured. In bad association, negative association, the other feelings come up. So don't engage yourself in serving those who are following the wrong path. But you do service to holy people, noble people. These are, you may say that this is, we all know. Yes, we all know, but we don't follow. That's why Buddha is reminding us to do that. And Rabindranath Tagore didn't go for other philosophies, but he is bringing this wonderful characteristic to practice. And said that, where do you live? Buddha said, live in this country or place where your spiritual practice is not be hindered by some other pressure, other religious pressure or political pressure, which stops your spiritual practice. Don't live in that country. And read good books, noble books. Learn many other fields of spiritual traditions. And humility. Try to practice humility. Dalai Lama is an example. You see, following humility, what can be, what a great person. At the same time, you see his humble behavior. So, he said, worship your mom and dad. Worship. Who worships mom and dad? Dad and mom also does not worship the children now. Not everyone, I am saying. Some people will be having different views. But ideal condition, that is the loving relationship, respectful relationship with mom, dad and the children. To welfare, to your children, to your family. Don't do anything, that type of karma, which will lead you to distraction. Charity, practice of the religious celebrations, do good to others and help others. And this type of all attitude will lead you to create this your character. The sila is building your character. You see, step-by-step journey, Buddha wanted that step-by-step journey. Not talking about highest Vedanta. It's true. We should know philosophically. But how to implement in life, here Buddha is giving that you try to be a good person, noble person, person of love, person of feeling for what is good and bad. You should be very careful about that and follow the dictate of the pure life. So, it says that you should be proud, but at the same time you should be polite in your character. Proud of your own spiritual wealth, proud for your own practices internally. At the same time, it will express not as haughtiness, but is the humility. Others may be using much more. I do not know. How can I say from outside? So two characteristics should simultaneously be developed. Contentment, at the same time, keeping the contented state. That's a great sadhana, spiritual practice. And gratitude. Gratitude for everything, for everyone. To listen to spiritual instructions in proper time. Forgiveness. How to speak. Art of speaking. And speaking sweetly and softly. To see the holy people. Austerity, celibacy, holding on to truth and to know, effort to make truth, know the truth, noble acts which is befitting to liberation. And if one can follow all this, then we can say that he is following the path of auspiciousness. That was different quotations given from. Now, so the point is very important that how we can build our character according to Buddha's idea, that you become little loving and caring for everyone. He said that, Rabindranath Tagore says, those who talk about Buddhism as some following some principles of religious practices, they don't understand it probably. He said, it is only to make everyone follow the path of auspiciousness. That is only one means. But the goal is nirvana or total freedom. But is it void theory or it is a theory of fullness? Rabindranath Tagore is saying that if it is only void, then how this auspiciousness brings fullness in the life of people we see. Those who are following the path of character, those who are following the path of noble thoughts, they are the blessings to the world. If it brings blessings, how the achievement will be void? That is his argument. If it a poison, you drink poison and poison's effect will be something. You drink nectar and nectar's effect will be something. So if you bring good to the world, if your practices and your auspicious thoughts is bringing love and kindness for all, then how can you say that its internal achievement is void? Void will bring void. They will not care for the world, no? But if there is something which percolates everywhere as blessings, then they will follow the path. So here Rabindranath Tagore says that no, Buddha, in Buddha's life and in Buddha religion, we find that it brings all auspiciousness and kindness. It is much higher than only bringing good to the world. So, but that is what it brings love. Buddhism means love. Buddhism means love for even a moving creature. You cannot kill, you cannot harm anyone in the world. Even a crawling worm, you cannot do that. That is the ahimsa. And you know why Buddha became a rebellion child of Hinduism. Because in that time, you know, in the history, that the whole India, they started performing the homofire or sacrifices. And their sacrifices, instead of sacrificing your own ego, they are sacrificing some goat or some animal, representing my animalistic tendency. So the poor animals were being slaughtered, not the ego which is inside. That remains untouched. And the poor animals are slaughtered everywhere whenever there is some homofire or some sacrifice going on. So Buddha came to stop this nonsense. Kill here your own evil tendencies, your ego, your meanness, your unkindness. And that's why Buddha stands on this philosophy of love and love. Even the prayers we said, Sabbe Shukhino Bhavantu, let everyone be happy, let everyone be peaceful, let everyone be joyful, let none suffer. These are the prayers. So if that is the prayer, that prayer of love, then where comes this question of any animosity there? Therefore, Tagore says, that the greatest gift what Buddhism gave, it is to talk about love. And love is spontaneous. Love brings spontaneous joy. Love brings spontaneous fulfillment. Love does not expect anything back. Love always gives. That in which there is only giving and there is no question of taking back, that is the last word. And that is the nature of Brahman. Therefore, what Buddha's philosophy is not shunya, void, but it is fullness. That is his argument. Better to know one set of argument. Very good argument he has given. 3-4 points. This love, if genuine love, love only gives. Love does not want back. If it is real love. Our love is give and take. And not only give and take, better you can give me more. And I can give whatever I can. But it is the opposite. How much you give, you'd never expect anything back. That is called the prema. That's why love is in English we call only love, one word. It is the Sanskrit or in the Buddhistic language, it's the prema. Prema has a deeper meaning and deeper love which is unconditional. We don't care what you do, but I can give and give only. So that, and if that is, there is no relationship to get back, if that is the point, then how can you say that is anything other than the oneness, idea of oneness? As I said, if a thorn pricks at your feet, you don't say, oh, it is in the feet, I don't care for that. Rather, I care if something hits in my back. No, because it is higher, it is lower, you don't make a distinction. It pinches you the same way if it is feet or your head or your chest or your hand. It is you, all true. So that's the love. Love is that. It feels for everyone without any condition. And there is no question of taking back, but only giving. And that is the nature of Brahman. And that's why Tagore says that this is the process. He says that it is a process through which our inherent desires can be destroyed. Our inherent desire is what? I want. This is the inherent in us. And that, to transcend that, this is a process. It is not to be withdrawn from the world, he says, but it is to focus into the world, expanding your own self. This is called, according to Buddhism, Metti Bhavana or Maitri Bhavana. The thought of friendshipness and friendliness to human, subhuman, trees, plants, gods, demons, everywhere the same idea of friendliness. That is Buddha's idea. Metti Bhavana or Maitri Bhavana. So, it is said that friendship and compassion, that is the Maitri Bhavana. And for that only we have talked about that if this friendship, idea of friendship is not possible when my heart, I carry animosity, I carry anger, I carry all the negative ideas. It is not possible. That's why I have discussed already that what Buddha said, to follow the Sila, that conduct, to follow disciplined life and dedicated life, to reach that, build up a character. Swami Vivekananda talked about it. It is character which counts. And character is what? Character is a combination of all the noble. Of course, in English, if we say character, I say bad character. Or we say, hey, I know he is a character. So it does not mean the same when you translate it as character. Character, if you say he is a character, it creates something in your brain differently. Or if you say, oh, I know his character. Oh, he is that. So character has different connotation. But in Sanskrit, if you say it is a character means assimilation of all the noble virtues and traits, spontaneously trying to manifest through that person. That is called the person of character. That's why Swami Vivekananda said, I want men of character. Men of character, and if I get 100 such, who will be in the street, stand in the street and say, I don't care for anything but God, and dedicate, then I can change the whole thought currents of the world. He wanted to change the world by people of character. And character is such a powerful thing. See, look at Mahatma Gandhi. What a character. That character we want. He can face this challenge of everything. But killing is going on, butchering is going on. His indomitable power. He is facing all challenges only on the character, strength of character, the power which is inherent in him. See, Martin Luther King, person of character, that is called character, which is established on truth, on justice, on building up the noble character, art of living. Following that type of thing, a powerful personality is grown. And that is within us. And if we don't grow that spiritual depth of ourselves, and manifest it, then how can we expect to reach that eternal freedom or nirvana or freedom from all dualities and bondage? So this is the practice, what he has said in nutshell, that you have to follow some Shila, good conduct, and developing that conduct. Even one conduct is observed very as the goal of life. Say ahimsa, I will not injure, or truthfulness, only one word. All other characters will assemble around that. If one decides to make a point that I will follow truthfulness, finish. Under no context I am going to yield from truth. And ultimate truth is God. If one can do that, all the noble virtues will assemble around that personality. And then his character will be built. And that character when built will try to automatically see the goodness in others and try to help. That love and friendship, to extend the friendship with everyone, will spontaneously develop. And with that friendship being developed, ultimately it will lead to the person to that state of Brahma Vihara. He will abide in the consciousness of God everywhere, or the divine. You call it God, you call it, don't say, give any name, you call it Atman, you call it Brahman, but it is the same feeling of oneness. And that oneness is to be achieved. That is the what is called Brahma Vihara. So, what shall we talk about now? So, this Buddha said that metta means this friendship, try to practice that. To sarvalokosmin, for all created being, uddham adhocha, it is above, below, in your all state of day-to-day consciousness, live in that awareness of the friendship idea. And Brahma Vihar will be then spontaneous. So, if we understand this material world in which we live, if it is only a temporary substance which is every moment changing its own reality, so why we should be attached to it? Why we should not go beyond it, where there will be freedom? There is no freedom in this running into the show of these changing objects. And we get more and more entangled into it, and we suffer because of that. That's why Buddha's idea that life is suffering. Life is suffering. Why? That is called birth is suffering. You live life, when you live, old age is suffering, death is suffering, of course. Some say it is good, no? Disease is suffering. So, old age, disease, these are all different levels of suffering. So, how to get out of this suffering is our goal, and Buddha said, get out of it by conduct, by following the noble conducts, following the ideal state. Analytically, if we understand why it is happening, then Buddha will say that because it is happening because you are ignorant. You are ignorant of this truth. Ignorant about what? Ignorant about this eternal reality, which is that oneness. Be aware of it. And how to be aware of it? Only by purifying the mind. As we at the beginning said, the mind. Entire, see, all the people are very much fascinated with Buddhism. Why? They are teaching to be mindful. Observe your mind. People go to Vipassana meditation. I am surprised. They go 10, 11 hours, they sit for meditation. 10 hours of meditation they sit. How they sit so long I do not know. But to be mindful, only observe your mind or observe your breath. That means bring control over your mind, which mind is running every direction. Just control, just make it observer and see how everything is running. And that is the only mind is changing. So don't follow that. Observer. See, they are not talking about Brahman, Atman, but what they are talking in the Vedanta, what it teaches, that witness idea. No? You observe. How do you observe? You observe mind. The mind becomes an object. And who becomes the subject? Who observes that? Breath becomes the object. But who observes that? So ultimately, it is one part of the mind, they say, become observer, another part becomes observed. But this observance means don't identify. Main thing, we get identified with all the movements of the mind, and wherever mind takes us, we take it to be true. We get identified, attached, and being attached to the objective world, where my mind takes it, I try to get it in my life, I want to hold it in my life, I want to fight for it, and I want to... But, mind, by that time mind has changed again. From childhood, let us look at our life, how many things we wanted. And how many times our mind has taught, hey, this is good. And then that time if we don't get it, how much we cried when we were babies, children. And we are when adult, that time also we are crying. Now we are become little mature, that time also we are crying. And when we die, that time also we cry because we want something else, we didn't get it. So this is the always like running to get something which cannot be achieved because it is changing. How can you catch that which is changing all the time? That's why to go back to that which does not change should be the objective. So Buddha's life is really great inspiration as we see that he was born. And we'll talk a few minutes about his born in the 6th century BC in a Kapilavastu at the foothill of Himalayas. He saw the normal things what we see every day. He saw disease, he saw old age, death, and it bothered him. He wanted to find, is it all? He never thought that he was a prince. He was raised in such an environment, all fun and joy only. Blooming flowers, dancing girls, food, luxury, nothing of the world which is the negative side of it was obscured from him. Because his prediction was that he may be a king or he may be a monk. His father got very worried. Horoscope told that. So he was worried, if my son does not take my kingdom, what will happen to my kingdom? So he wanted to keep away everything from his vision, from his perspective, that there is no such thing. All life is all joy and fun. And it was going on, and when he wanted to see his country, his kingdom, so his father was very worried. Now what will happen if he sees somebody sick or somebody dead? What will happen? So he make an order. There should be no suffering, no old man, no diseased person. But what happens? Suddenly somebody comes. So he took for his journey, and suddenly everything is clean, every house is painted, because the prince will go follow this route. And suddenly he saw that one diseased person tottering over the lay, and he see, and what is this? Disease. Disease? What is disease? Disease, everyone will have disease. I will have disease? My wife will have disease? My child? Yes. Disease. Then is old age. Saw an old person. And then death. Someone is being carried after death to the cremation. And then he saw a monk who is free, whose face is beaming with joy. Then he could not think of anything else. He took it so seriously, these views, and then came back and became totally aloof from everything. And he said, I have to find out a path to get out of this. Old age, disease, and death. So how can I get out of it? And then he left, and he started his austere spiritual practice, giving up that kingdom and everything, and he had this liberation or experience, what is called his illumination, and that illumination then he preached what is called Buddhism. So he tried to find the cause of suffering and means of complete deliverance from it, and went to many religious teachers and learned scholars. Great austerities he performed, but did not satisfy according to the instruction what has been given to him, and came back to his own resources, which is here. With the iron will, that is the point, with the iron will, a mind free from all disturbing thoughts and passions, he endeavored to unravel through continuous meditation the mystery of the world's miseries, till at last his ambition was convinced with success. He became a Buddha, an enlightened person. So this enlightenment is the goal of life, and following today we have emphasized on the practices to practice, to pay attention to our day-to-day life as we live, how to cultivate this Shila or conducts, and that congregation of these good conducts will build our character, and that character will bring gradually the feeling, along with building the character, trying to feel the friendship with all, and growing this friendship more and more and more. A state will come when one will see the sameness in everywhere and identify themselves with the truth. And that is called Brahma Vihara. He will abide in Brahman. And that is the whole plan of Buddha's lessons. So we hope that we can follow something what Buddha says. Thank you all.